Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to look at whether it's a bad idea to try and lose weight during a marathon training block. Now, in all honesty, it can happen pretty easily anyway, and the reason I'm doing this video is because I've seen nutritionists talk about this topic online and suggest that it's blanket, black and white, a bad thing to do. Now, there are some circumstances where actually a weight loss period during marathon training could be a bad idea. If you're doing it through unhealthy eating, if you're just creating massive calorie deficits, then of course it is. That's a bad idea at any point, especially when you're putting your body through the rigors of marathon training. However, if you're looking after good quality nutrition, eating well through that, drinking plenty of water and squash, keeping hydrated, resting and sleeping well, looking after other elements of your mental stress and busyness in life as well, then actually weight loss can happen really quite easily and also be an incredibly useful thing. Now, the reason that weight loss can be really helpful during marathon training is that it reduces the impact on your body. You're stressing it less. When there is less body fat, the same muscle mass to carry, you are producing and needing less force and you're having to absorb less force. So your muscles, ligaments, and tendons are having to do a lot less work during this massive volume of training you inevitably have to do. The other side of it as well is it can boost your performance because of that. So aside from managing the injury risk, if you're carrying less body fat and you've got that same amount of muscle mass, those ligaments and tendons will still work hard, but they will propel you further with every single step. It will be easier in the latter stages to keep on working at those high energy levels and high energy output levels, rather than kind of slogging away at the end there feeling absolutely tired. Imagine if you've ever run with a weight vest on, for instance, or even just carrying a child, just walking around, how tiring that is. If you imagine losing half a stone which can be very easily done during a marathon training block, that is going to make a massive difference when you're running 26 miles. So, first of all, it's not a bad idea necessarily. It does depend on how you're doing it. Now, if you want to lose weight, what you need to make sure you're doing is that you're losing it ideally through body fat levels. We're not looking to lose this through muscle mass, importantly. You can measure that to some small degree during body fat analyzer scales, or ideally by looking in the mirror, taking physical measurements and keeping a track of this as well. Now, what feeds into these kind of lag indicators is what we're then looking at in our food. So, tracking on something like NutriCheck or MyFitnessPal, looking at the protein content, fat content, and then carbohydrates. Now, I have covered lots of these topics in my marathon nutrition ebook, which is available on my website. However, there are loads of things we can really quickly cover here as well. So, you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of protein. Typically, for endurance running, it's 1.4 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. There are, again, obviously caveats around this depending on any nutritional needs you have. Fat content generally is 20 to 30%. More leaning towards a 30% is not a bad idea to make sure we're basically getting our needs for vitamin absorption, for immune health, and all those kind of good things, and for energy as well. The rest is getting carbohydrate, and the 20 to 30% here, and the rest of those percentages coming from carbohydrates is based on your calorie needs. Ideally, see a nutritionist or a dietitian to get this looked at. However, again, there are some calculations in my book which will give you some ideas. So overall, weight loss can be really useful for marathon training, can make you fitter and faster, but also eating really well and looking after what you're eating can make you a better runner in terms of your physical performance, but also how you feel and improve your overall health. Now, this whole idea of it being good or bad is never that simple, and also the rate of weight loss also has to be factored in. £1 to £2 a week for most runners of weight loss is going to be actually pretty sustainable, pretty healthily done, especially when you're building up this volume of training. If you're looking at £2 to £3, that's maybe on the upper limit, so you want to keep that for a short period of time, certainly, and then you'll start to see that drop off. However, if you are a heavier runner, then yes, you may lose slightly more, £2, £3, £4 a week for a short period of time as well. Now, the reason, the other part of the reason anyway, that marathon training can be a great idea for fat loss is that you are burning more fat during training. Not only are you training more, which is going to increase your calorie expenditure, of which some of it is going to be fat, the other side of it as well is that you're lowering your heart rate. You're working at a lower heart rate, lower exertion level than you would normally be doing because of the increased volume of training. What this means is that we burn a lower proportion of our calories from carbohydrate and an increased proportion from fats. In all likelihood, this will still be higher carbohydrate output than fat content usage, but it is a higher proportion. So by the time you take into account higher proportion, say 30% of your calorie expenditure during training, but you're also then training for maybe 10, 15, 20% more per week, so maybe 10 to 12 miles more per week, or however many kilometers that works out as, you're then going to be looking at a lot of additional fat content being used in our training each week, meaning that it's a great time to lose some body fat, and that's how we do want to get rid of our weight, importantly. So, for really, marathon training is a great time to lose weight in a healthy and productive way that's looking after your health and boosting your performance. So don't take any black and white advice. Very, very rarely is that a good idea. with this exception, obviously, that it's not always a good idea. So, weight loss in marathon training can be absolutely fine. Do it healthily, look after the other elements of your mental, physical well being as well, and you can absolutely have a great time and make yourself a fitter, faster, stronger, and healthier runner.